So, when you're building a business or brand of any kind, I think it's obvious we need to know how to stand out and be different. But what's not so obvious is how to do that. And strategically, how to make sure we differentiate ourselves from the competition, from other people, because everybody out there is making choices every time they surf the net, every time they come across your website, your YouTube channel, or your podcast. It's really important that we discover within ourselves and amongst others that are in the same space that we're in, how to be different. So stick around, because today I'm going to show you and have some experiments going on literally live with you so that we can see how we can have you differentiate yourself from others too, so you can grow your business faster, so you can make more money, and ultimately help and serve more people too. Good morning. Thanks for being here. My name is Pat Flynn, here to help you make more money, save more time, and help more people too. High five for you being here today. Appreciate you so much. And if you happen to be here in the chat live with me, say hello to your friends who are here as well. Thanks to the members who are here supporting the channel too. And if you're watching the replay, hook me up with a hashtag replay, team replay, in the comment section. Let's get this show started.
This is the income stream to help you achieve your dream, all while we keep it clean. This is
I don't have the other camera angle today.
It's the kind of show where you can come and go, but then you leave inspired with no fee required. The income stream with Pat Flynn.
All right. Again, today we're talking about differentiation. Now, it's interesting because psychologically, we often want to blend in. We want to do what other people are doing. And I remember what it was like when I got started. When I first started my blog, I wanted to do what everybody else was doing because everybody else was doing stuff that was working. Everybody else had done it before. So it kind of makes sense on the surface to go and try things and do things that other people are doing. And I still think that's important. It's important to go out there and see who else has a proven track record. See who else has success, and mimic, copy, get inspired, and copy their style. Don't copy their style. Copy their processes. Don't copy, but copy. You know what I'm saying? Like when I started blogging, I wanted to blog like Darren Rouse from ProBlogger, so I copied how his structure of his blog posts were because those were super easy to read. But obviously, I didn't plagiarize, and you don't want to plagiarize. That's kind of what I'm getting at here. But you can get inspired and be motivated by who else has gone out there already. But at the same time, if you were to be exactly like those people who are already there, well, what's ultimately going to happen? You're never going to surface amongst the crowd. You're never going to be the cream that rises to the top. You're never going to be somebody who's different, somebody who other people can go, yo, you got to check out Bill, you got to check out Samson, you got to check out David here because they are one of the only ones that blank. And that's the first lesson I have for you. I'm just going to dive right in. When it comes to standing out, I want you to think about, and if you have a brand already in a business, YouTube channel, podcast, blog, whatever, I want you to think about if people can talk about your brand in this way. Oh, you got to check out, insert your name here, because they're one of the only ones that blank. Now, if you can answer that question, fantastic. And if you can, or you have some sort of a little bit of differentiation in that case, then lean into it. And when I first started blogging, I wanted to be like everybody else. But eventually I found out that it was what made me different that allowed people to connect with me instead. And you can verify this here if you're in the chat or not. But I know from conversations with people that people tend to gravitate toward my style and my blog and my brand, my podcast, because I'm a family man. And a lot of people who were talking about entrepreneurship when I started back in 2008 were not. They were travelers. They were people who were laptop lifestyle design, Tim Ferriss, Gary Vaynerchuk type people. And those were even though Gary and Tim are quite the opposite, those were what people associated entrepreneurs with, those people. And then here comes Pat Flynn, who's a little bit more laid back. People also gravitated toward me because I was being very honest and authentic versus a lot of other people in the internet marketing space who were very much either keeping their best secrets secret and not sharing it up front or having you pay to get access to them, or they were just kind of good talkers but didn't really have anything to show for it. Thankfully, and this wasn't necessarily planned if you want to call it that, but it kind of just happened in this way. My first business was not a business helping people start a business. My first business was helping people pass an architectural exam, getting my feet wet in that space, understanding the language a little bit, and making a ton of mistakes, and then sharing all those mistakes and showing up on smartpassiveincome.com. So, what makes you different? You have to be able to answer that. And yes, you might not be the only person, but let's say that there are a few of you who are doing that thing a little bit different than others. Well, how are you going to make that unique? We need to answer that question, right? Now, if you have a physical product, I think this becomes a little bit more clear. Anybody in the chat, let me know in the chat if you actually sell physical products, e-commerce, goods, those kinds of things that actually can be held and has weight to them. Let me know in the chat, because we can run some experiments right now just to show you the importance of research. And that's what I want to talk about next. So I'll wait for some of those comments to come in. Bernard says, I prefer authentic. Everyone else basically has a disconnect. Bill says, laid back but on turbocharge. Thank you. I appreciate that. What's up, Malini? Great to see you here. Grandma Goody, Samson, Fit Over 50, the Nordic Hunter. Always great to see some new faces here as well. Thank you so much for coming in today. And if you haven't yet done so, make sure you hit that subscribe button and the bell notification icon so you don't miss out on any of the future videos that we have coming here. We are at day 258 in a row of the income stream, which is pretty crazy. And this is one thing that I've done this year to differentiate myself from other entrepreneurs. Purposefully and strategically going live every morning to come and share some things with you. And that's something that I know other people are not going to do. So differentiation could be in the sense quantity. In many cases, it is. For example, John Lee Dumas from Entrepreneurs on Fire. He started his podcast 7 days a week. Nobody else was doing that. And he said, you know what? I'm going to strategically make the decision to go 7 days a week on my podcast. And he is a absolute madman for doing that. But he knew that he had the work ethic. He didn't have a family at the time, and he was able to do it. And he did it, and he crushed it, and that's what differentiated him. And he leaned into it. He even said, my podcast is the only one that goes live 7 days a week. Now, that's not always possible for some of us, and we don't often have the time to do that. In fact, most people don't. So if you can't do a quantity thing, obviously you still want to have good quality if you're coming out with a lot of stuff. There could be differentiations in the quality of your stuff and how you approach a certain thing. Right? No products. Let's see. Physical products, says Bernard. Cool. So let's take Bernard's business, for example. I know Bernard, he's been in here quite often and also joins me on the Twitch stream with my kids a couple times when we play video games together. I know that he has a costume shop, for example, right? So let's go in to do some research for a physical product. And this might be helpful for you if you choose to do physical products down the road. I started a physical product business last year. Actually, it was 2 years ago. The Switch Pod, which, by the way, thank you to all of you who have supported the Switch Pod this past Black Friday, Cyber Monday. We had an amazing success and an amazing run with the number of sales. In fact, we had more sales yesterday than on Black Friday. Our inventory is moving, which is really cool. But you might find that as an online business person, there might be an opportunity for you to create a physical product down the road, and this exercise might be helpful for you. But let's just take Bernard's, for example, with relation to costumes. So one of my favorite places to do research for physical products is none other than Amazon. Amazon is obviously the place where you can find tons of Amazon related and physical products. But what else can you find alongside those products? You can find really, really great reviews, which means customers who have purchased those products that already exist can express how they feel about that product, right? And this is a tool that helps us make decisions whether we want to buy something or not. Now, when we go to Amazon, actually, we could do that right now. I'm going to go to Amazon here, and there we go. So let's just look up Halloween costume. I think I spelled Halloween wrong. Halloween costume. Let's do Pikachu. Let's just try. Oh my gosh, I could spell, I promise. Halloween costume Pikachu, right? Pikachu is a character from Pokemon. Okay, so Halloween costume Pikachu. So let's just take this one for example. Unisex child, Pikachu costume, cosplay pajamas, right? Now, my favorite thing to do here is not go, okay, well, what description do they have? What title do they have? Let me just copy those. You can get inspiration from those, but I often love to look at a few things. I love to look at the description to see, okay, well, what are they highlighting that they think is important, especially if it's something that's moving a lot of volume. 330 ratings, it's pretty good. But the best part about this are the reviews. Ooh, there's like a little Charmander too. So my favorite thing to do is to go into the reviews. So if I scroll down and I look at the reviews, you can also look at the questions. The questions and answers are extremely helpful too, right? Questions are things that people don't know the answer to, so Amazon puts them all there for us, which is really nice. I don't understand the size chart. What size do you order for a child that wears size 8? Boom. So you know now on your website, Bernard, that you should make your sizing charts super clear, because even on a site like Amazon, it's not super clear. How might you differentiate yourself in that regard? Again, this is just one sign, one clue from the world out there. People need help on this, right? This reminds me of a friend of mine, Marcus Sheridan, also known as the Sales Lion. He got his start online by actually using his pool business. He had a pool business. He would help build pools for different people, different residences near and around where he lived. And he found out that a lot of people were just in the pool research process, were never finding the actual prices of these things. People wanted to have consultation calls first. People wanted to, have site visits first and then get the invoice, because obviously when you get a person in front of you and then you're kind of talking, if you talk a good game like a car salesman, well, you could sell them on a pool. Well, he decided to flip it. He decided to go, okay, you know what? I noticed everybody who is in this pool space, who's looking for pools, wants to know the price up front. So if they just take a picture and they send it, I'm going to give them a pretty good estimate on what I think the price will be right up front, right? And that changed the game for him. He had become known as the pool guy for a very long time and still is known as the pool guy, right? So size charts. How can you create a size chart that just obviously makes sense? I mean, to me, in my opinion, I hate size charts online because they're different everywhere. Maybe you have the costume shop online that has the best size chart so that people can go, oh, okay, this is this many inches. This is for a kid that's this height, including, centimeters plus imperial as well. And it's just very easy for me to know, right? Again, I'm not in that space, so I don't even know, but you likely know better than me what those solutions might be, right? Cherry Channel TV. Hi, Flynn from Dominican Republic. What's up? Thanks for being here. High five. You're awesome. Cool. So, is this making sense? That's just one question that we had, right? So another question on charts. So this is, all four of these questions are about sizing, right? Now I can go into the reviews. Now the 5-star reviews, I'm not really a big fan of doing research there because a lot of 5-star reviews are just going to say all the best things, and that's fine. And the 1-star reviews, oftentimes people are very upset. It's the 2 and 3-star reviews that I actually love the most. And I actually see a 3-star review here that we can dive into, and I'm going to zoom in so we can all read this together. I was really excited to get this for my son. He loves dressing up, and he has a bit, and he's had a previous set of Pikachu pajamas that he'd grown out of. Now we're getting actual words from customers who've bought a competing product. This is why I absolutely love Amazon for doing research, because not only do you get to see the products and the pricing, which gives you a clue on things that you could sell and for how much, it also gives you an insider look at the psyche of your potential customer, right? So we know that this person had a kid who loves Pikachu. They have pajamas that the kid grew out of, and now they're looking for something bigger. That is amazing. And what's going to happen? Kids always grow out of things. So let's serve them and get them to maybe we create a whole line. Like my idea is like, let's create a whole line of Pikachu pajamas, for your kid that can keep going, right? And now I have an email list and I go, hey, has your kid outgrown your Pikachu costume or your pajamas? Here's some special deals for you because they're probably growing and eating a lot of food and raiding the pantry and whatnot, right? This is my favorite topic. Amazon is my thing into year 2021. Nice. Good timing. Costumes that don't shrink and can be washed. There you go. I like that. So let's keep reading. It took a long time for it to come in the mail, which I expected. So that's sort of a shipping situation. So maybe you have like next day shipping, right? What was and rest in peace, Tony Hsieh. We talked about Tony Hsieh last week. He had passed away, the founder and CEO of Zappos, somebody who revolutionized the thoughts about customer service online. Zappos sold shoes, yet he was able to make that experience really great and grew his company and even supported downtown Las Vegas as a result, contributing hundreds of millions of dollars as a result of his work ethic and his customer support ethic, right? So customer support's really important. Maybe, Bernard, your costume shop becomes one that, has, I don't know, 24-hour live chat. Maybe not. That might cost some money. But maybe it's 2-day shipping. We're the only costume shop that can guarantee in the region that we're in 2-day shipping. I don't know. This is something that differentiated Amazon, obviously. But this is just basing it off of what I'm reading here from Marcy. When I first pulled it out, I was initially struck by how soft it was and was very pleased. But then I started to look closer at the details. The one I received doesn't look like the ones in the pictures that others have posted. The face is wrong. It is elongated, which makes it look a little weird. The tips of the ears shaped weird, and they are brown instead of black. The tail resembles a dog tail that doesn't have the lightning shape. Wow, that's really sad, actually. I wish I could see a picture. The most frustrating part is that the zipper at the bottom fell off the first time it was put on. Luckily, I found it, and luckily I was able to get it back on, but it isn't properly sewn, so this will likely happen again. I thought I was buying a quality product, and I didn't. So that's just something to keep in mind, right? Looking at somebody else's experience. This is also, I know some people who do this. They go kind of guerrilla marketing for a while, and in the beginning parts of their business, they actually go into and find these people. And you can check out the avatar. For example, Macy here. Macy has a picture. This might be the same picture that they might have on Twitter. And amazingly, a few times this has worked for us at SwitchPod too. We've reached out or have connected with people who we know have had a competing product. And we just go, hey, like, how can we help you? Is there, we're really sorry to hear that your tripod broke, and we just kind of like offer support. We don't go like, hey, your tripod broke, buy ours instead. But that's kind of what happens sometimes, right? I'll show you some examples of this too. Also, I want to say thank you to Hey Archer. Thank you so much for the super chat, my friend. I appreciate you for that. That was the wrong sound. There we go. That's a little better. Thank you for the super chat, buddy. Let's see. Did you have a question? New month, new goals, new bruhs. Happy holidays, everyone. Bruh for sure. Bruh. All right, let's look at another one. Awesome quality for a low price. See, this picture looks fine, and it has black tips instead of, see, that's not a dog tail. That's a Pikachu tail. So maybe that person got a wrong product, right? Maybe they got packaged the wrong product. I don't know. So if you want to sort, my favorite way to do this is to just click on like 3-star reviews. I love 3-star reviews specifically because they go, yo, here's what I liked and here's what I didn't like. Sorry, no reviews. So let's try 2-star. Okay, so there's only one 2-star. How about 4-star? Okay. Cute, cute. The only downside I can think of is that there's nothing that keeps the ears or tail up, so they're always down and floppy. I wish they had some kind of stuffing. It's not a big deal with my kid, though. John Carl Lewis, welcome. Thank you so much for joining Team Flynn Gold. I appreciate you. So anyway, that's good to know. So again, some research from existing products so I can figure out what I can do better. I also love going to Twitter. Twitter is a great place to go to for research, even for things that are not physical products, but I'm still in the physical product space right now as far as these examples. So I'm going to look up my tripod broke, right? So I'm here looking up my tripod broke, and I put it in quotes so that I can see, whoa, what is that? Some anime character doing something weird. Latest. Okay. My tripod broke. My tripod broke. I really need to make sure there's like family-friendly stuff here. You sometimes never know. Here's one that I'm going to do. My Gorilla Pod. So this is, Caleb and I actually did research on these kinds of things, right? So look at that, Joby. My Gorilla Pod broke. Adjusting the leg with my own hands. Bad luck, I guess. Where can I get spare parts in Brazil? So this is not cool. And this is a very common problem with one of our competitors, which is the Joby Gorilla Pod, of course, right? Here's another one. Another one. Another one. My Gorilla Pod broke. My Gorilla Pod broke. Can you help me? My Gorilla Pod broke. Right? Not cool. What if I hit top here? Hey guys, my Gorilla Pod broke after using it for less than 10 times. I sent you an email yesterday, but I've got no answer. So this is a good place to go, hey, Roberto, sorry to hear about your Gorilla Pod. Like, how did it break, if I may ask? And then they might find out that you have a Switch Pod, for example, right? So this is a way to do research, and differentiation is really key, right? So when we created the Switch Pod, we were talking to a lot of people, and this is like the next step, is to talk to people about what it is that they already have access to and what do they wish they had different, right? I have another exercise that I'm going to share with you in just a minute. Thanks for coming in today and watching. Make sure you hit that subscribe button if you haven't already, plus the bell notification icon so you don't miss any more videos like this. But we're talking today specifically about ways that you can strategically differentiate yourself from the competition. This is important because if you just blend in, you're going to blend in and you're not going to make as many sales. You're not going to impress as many people. You're not going to have as much growth, etc. So one of my favorite things to do when it comes to standing out is to literally have conversations, whether online or offline, with people who are in that target audience who share the same problem that you are building a solution for, that you have a solution for, or building content for, creating content for, right? Let's talk to some of those people. In fact, this is something that I'm doing right now. I'm creating an experimental YouTube channel. And I'm going to be sharing the results of this later. I don't want it to be skewed from the crowd that I have already. I love starting things new in new spaces that will help me kind of see what it's like right at the beginning so that I can better portray. Because if I were to be like, yo, I'm starting a new business helping people, with podcast editing, and I started it from scratch, you're going to be like, well, Pat, you've been podcasting for over a decade now. It wasn't really from scratch, and you have all these connections now. So I'm actually starting a new YouTube channel, and I'm going to be experimenting with it. And one thing that I'm doing is I'm literally having conversations with people here on YouTube, in fact, with inside of comments. I've reached out to some of these people who have connected with in the comment sections of these different niches that I'm experimenting with. And I'm asking them questions like, what do you feel like is missing in that space? What's something that you wish you had seen so far? What would be the most helpful for you that you haven't even seen yet? These just direct conversations are having a massive impact on informing what content I should be creating, right? So that was you. So that was you not showing your face and disguising your voice. Yeah, it could be a channel that already exists. You don't know. I'm going to share more about that later. Aha, I have a broken Joby GorillaPod too, says Try Cherry. Sorry to hear that. That's just a bummer. But again, big thank you to our new member, John Carl Lewis. And all right, just kind of turning notifications off here. So conversations, right? One of my favorite things to ask is, if there was an ideal video out there that could help you right now, what would that video be about, right? So that's a great question. Or if you had a magic wand and there was a set of videos that you would just sit down and binge watch right now, what would it be about? Okay. And then what channels do you currently watch and why? So that's another great question to ask too if you're having conversations. An easy way to have a conversation is using your phone and just making it really easy to connect with people on a direct message, right? If you have an Instagram, or you can go to somebody else's Instagram and connect with people there. Gary Vaynerchuk, I think it was the $4 strategy, I think he called it. And it was because, and it was really clever how he framed this. You might remember this. You can correct me if I'm wrong. I forget the exact dollar amount. It might be $2. Anyway, I think it's the $2 strategy. Because you know that when you add your 2 cents on something, it's like you adding value, 2 cents, to a particular conversation. So Gary had this strategy that was mentioned a few years back called the $2 Instagram growth strategy or something like that. And it's not like you pay $2, but you add your 2 cents 100 times on 100 different posts. And you do that like within just a specific day, right? You're on your phone for maybe an hour or two, and you're literally just in there and you're having, adding value to different people's conversations. That alone can help you grow. Especially if you are engaging in conversation and you're kind of responding and replying back and forth. And these 2 cents, 100 times, $2, can add up to a lot of great connections and insights, right? So I really love that strategy. I don't remember exactly if it was $2 or not. Oh, $1.80? Of course, he picks sort of a random number that makes people go, well, why $1.80? But see, that's why, because you can remember that, right? Anyway, I didn't remember it, but the Nordic Hunter says, Pat Flynn, what about adding a small gift? Let me see if I can scroll up. What about adding a small gift with each order if you access to add it to the box? like a bookmarker or magnet or something affordable. I mean, it's always good to drop in nice little surprises. I think this is something that has been done and obviously works really well. I have noticed that when I purchase Pokemon cards, for example, from Japan, they always include some sort of extra pack or gift or some extra cards. And it definitely makes me feel special. It definitely makes me want to go and leave a review for them. And I think that's a really smart strategy. Even if it's like commons, it's like, I'm very thankful that you added more than what I purchased. And it was probably just bulk cards that they had sitting around. But still, very, very, very grateful for that. And I think that that's a really cool thing. So yeah, adding small gifts and things like that could work really, really well. But that doesn't help you when it comes to getting new people directly. Right? Because if you add a gift into a customer's product, well, you need to have the customer first before you offer that gift. That definitely plays a role in my super fan strategy, which is like, let's offer small, unexpected surprises to people who are already in your system. But what that will do as a byproduct is people within your brand who are customers, subscribers, followers, etc., if they're getting constantly surprised and you consistently stand out in that way, and that's definitely a great way to do it, then they're going to talk. Right? Because people who have the same kinds of problems, who have the same kinds of interests and needs, usually find each other in some way, shape, or form. It might be because you created a space for them to be found, or they have found a space in a Facebook group or a LinkedIn group or some other brand, and you can go in there and you can start having conversations with them too. Plus, it helps clear out the drawers, says Bill. Yes, indeed. That's actually really cool. Extra items are a cheap way to make people feel good, for sure. Sorry for my missing words. It's all good. Hopefully, I answer that question for you. But I do love the sentiment behind Gary's $1.80 strategy, which is to go out there, provide value, and then I say, let's take that further, and let's have conversations with these people who are also in the chat so that we can discover more and ask those questions like I was talking about, right? The questions being things like, what's a video that you wish was available for you right now that would like answer a big question for you, or what's a particular struggle that you're having right now that if Gary were to create a video about, you think would be really helpful, right? So these are kinds of things that you can ask so that you can determine what your content should be about and how you can further help. Now, my favorite way to do research and be strategically different is to consider the idea that the landscape that you are in, the niche that you are in, think of it like a big map. And there's different locations, there's different populations, there's different sort of areas that you could explore within that niche, right? And it's very important that we have an understanding of the layout of this map. Who's here? What's here? Where are people, populated? This then enables us to go in and find a place where we can call home, right? An undiscovered plot of land or a specific community within that map that we want to add value to, that we think we have something to offer, etc. Right? So the way that I do this, and I talk about this in my book, Will It Fly? We're talking about my books today, which is really cool. They're all over there, by the way. We got, that's a Back to the Future book. So we got Let Go, Superfans, and Will It Fly, Stormtrooper Helmet, Mandalorian, and Iron Man. What do y'all think of the name of Baby Yoda? I liked Baby Yoda better than the name of Baby Yoda in Mandalorian. I'm not going to say it. I don't want to be a spoiler, but yeah. Cool. So let's talk about the market map strategy. You may have seen me talk about this before if you have taken advantage of my free course that was available during the first 6 months of the pandemic. It's no longer free, Smart from Scratch, but this is in there as well, and I'm pulling it out for you because I want to share it with you. This is how you can strategically differentiate yourself from others. Number one, we want to create a spreadsheet or some sort of paper or whatever that has 3 columns, because we want to find the 3 P's within the market that you're in. The 3 P's. The first P are the places, and we're going to make a list of as many and all the places where people are populated within that space. So all the top YouTube channels, all the top websites, all the top, everything. We want to have those things there. The Facebook groups, the communities, online events, offline events, virtual conferences, etc. We want to list all those places because that is a sign of where those people congregate. And that's super useful to know. So that's just exercise number 1. We'll talk about what to do with this exercise in just a minute, but that's part 1. Part 2, the second column in the middle, is people. Who are the leaders that have already spent the time to earn the trust with that particular audience. Some of those people may overlap with column number 1, the places. They might be the founders of those websites, or if they're a personal brand, it's going to overlap, of course. But you want to also consider the other people who have the top Twitter accounts, who's the top LinkedIn most connected person, who are the leaders in this space, who is always getting invited on other people's podcasts, right? Who are the authors of certain books in and around this particular topic. So we can list them on there yet. Are we still talking about Die Hard? Let me know in the chat what you feel. Is Die Hard a Christmas movie or not? And I'll share my thoughts at the end, because we were just talking about that yesterday. And you have your old school turntable next to your switch pod now. Yeah, you want to see something cool? So I was able to disconnect the band underneath that turns the turntable, and then I just have it like infinitely spinning now. It's not infinitely, it's not perpetual motion, but it's going to go for a while. I'm kind of curious to see how long the switch pod spins for. Maybe it's a little bit distracting. Maybe I shouldn't have done that, but that's okay, because we're talking about a very important thing right now. Actually, we are talking about something important, so I don't want to have this be a distraction. So column number 1 over here. Column number 1 is, and I have to remember because this is opposite for me. So column number 1 is going to be a list of all the places. Column number 2 is a list of all the people, social accounts, put their, in this spreadsheet of yours, put in their contact info, their websites, etc. And then column number 3, we need to make sure to include the products. These are the things that are already out there being served to, and that come at a price. And we can list those prices too. Maybe that's the 4th P is price. And then the last P, yes, I only said there was 3, but those 3 P's equals the final P, which is your position. So now that you have this map, just that exercise alone, the places, the people, the products, you're able to have this higher perspective, this bird's eye view of the space that you are involved in. And what's really cool about that is now you have even more knowledge often than the people who are in that space already, because they're already busy and they're focusing on their own little thing, but you're coming in at a new perspective. And you could do this even if you already are in a niche or not, but it's especially helpful if you're just starting out, right? And this is the advantage you have starting later. Yes, people are in that already. Yes, they have subscribers and followers already. Yes, they've gotten a head start, and they've gotten a head start on search engine optimization and algorithms on YouTube. Yes, they have more social proof than you. But you know what they don't have? A brand new, fresh perspective that you can take to see the lay of the land and figure out where to land that plane, set up shop, and make it happen, right? I've never seen Die Hard. I stand by Lord of the Rings being the best Christmas movie ever. No, summer blockbuster. That happened to take place during the holidays. Okay. We'll keep the debate going here. But let me know if you've ever run the market map exercise, chat, and how useful that was to you. And in this new space that I'm getting into, I've done the exact same thing. And let me just tell you how I've used this market map. Number 1, let's talk about the places. I now know where most of these people exist. Many of these people are on a few specific websites, but most of them are here on YouTube, which is really great. And I've discovered a number of YouTube channels, and this overlaps with the people column, that tells me where to go and who to watch and who to follow, right? And I've actually, quote unquote, infiltrated. It makes it sound like it's like I'm spying or something. I mean, it kind of is. I'm spying in a way, but for good reasons. I want to make sure that when I go and create content in this space myself, that the content that I create is different. I want people to say, whoa, that Pat Flynn guy, and I'm still going to use my name. I've used a pen name before, but if I'm going to be on camera, I don't want to pretend, hey, my name is Jeeves Bogart, and I don't know. And that's not going to work very well, and I'd feel weird. So I'm just going to be myself. But I'm going to be in a completely different space that, honestly, I'm pretty brand new to, and it's going to be a lot of fun to see what I can do to differentiate and see what we can do to experiment and grow the channel. I'm going to take a lot of the things that I have done on my own brands, the decade-plus experience of business, and pop it into this new space to provide something new, because I want people to go, oh, Pat Flynn, yeah, he's the guy who blank, right? Not that I will blank. I don't want to shoot and have a blank show up. But I want to have people fill in that blank with something very specific, right? Were you able to get Mr. Beast to answer? What was the question? I can't remember. But I did and have been able to talk to Mr. Beast. In fact, I do have a... Where is it? I do have... Mr. Beast, if you're watching this, thank you. I doubt he's watching this. I do have a signed Mr. Beast special. This was... I bought some shirts for my kids, and I had to have one for myself. I'm a fan of Mr. Beast. Appreciate what he's doing. Got to meet him in person last year. Super humble guy. Very smart businessman. Very, very knowledgeable about YouTube and its algorithm. He's just killing it, right? But anyway, thanks to Mr. Beast for that sweater. It's very warm. I don't want to wash it because you signed it. See, even I like merch and stuff. I hear the garbage man out there. I apologize if the sound's going. There we go. Switch pod spinning. What's up, everybody? Hey, if you're coming in late, all good. We're going to do a recap anyway, but today we're talking about being strategically different. That means if you're building a brand, a YouTube channel, website, blog, podcast, etc., whatever it is, we know it's important to stand out and be different. But not a lot of people talk about how to be different, right? So we talked a little bit about going and finding other people who are already doing something similar to what you're going to do or are doing already, and paying attention to how people are talking about those things. We actually went into Amazon and we looked at some reviews for somebody actually who has a business related to Halloween costumes here. And we went into Amazon to look at other Halloween costumes, and very quickly we were able to determine certain things that people hate about buying costumes online. And we can use some of these strategies that we're doing to inform what it is that we should be doing instead. So for example, we saw a lot of questions about the sizing charts and how terrible they were, even on Amazon. So if we can clearly answer those questions, that could become something that could strategically differentiate us. Hey, we have the easiest to understand charts, and I guarantee you that most people who are doing costumes are not focusing on the charts, the thing that is front-facing, the thing that if a person doesn't understand, they're not going to buy. That just shows you how important it is for you to nail this. So if we can nail that and make it easy so that a person goes, oh, my son is 10, he's this tall, he weighs this much, boom, there's the costume. Maybe there's a thing that I can actually plug in numbers, a calculator. You can use a tool like outgrow.co to insert numbers about your kid so that it spits out the information about which costumes will be best. Outgrow.co, a really cool website where you can create calculators that can help you in your marketing and quizzes and things like that. That's the first thing. The second thing we talked about was actually connecting with people, having conversations with them, talking to them, asking questions like, hey, if there was a video to come out today that would be the most helpful for you, what would that video be about, right? Or, hey, if, what do you think is missing that's out there? One thing I love to do, and I didn't mention this earlier, is I love to ask my audience. I often ask on Twitter or on Instagram. Instagram stories are a quick and easy way to get some polls done, to ask a question like, who else are you following right now? Right? Oh, I'm following Jordan Harbinger. I'm following Gary Vaynerchuk. I'm following Amy Porterfield. I'm following Nicole Walters. And then following up with them and saying, well, why do you follow them? What do you like about them the most? And then what's one thing that you wish they did differently? Right? If you engage in a conversation like that, you can pull out some really, really golden information to help you build your brand and build your business. Third, we talked about something called the market map. This is something I created that I wrote about in my book, Will It Fly? This is discovering the 3 Ps of your audience. P number 1. The first P is the places. Where are those people online? Which YouTube channels, which websites, conferences, online, offline, all the places, Facebook groups, etc. List them all down in an Excel sheet, for example, and include a handy link to go along with them too. The middle column, include the people who have already spent the time, money perhaps, sweat equity to earn the trust of that particular target market, the same market that you are also targeting too. List their names, list your social channels, and put them on a list. And number 3 is the products that people are already potentially going to pay for, list their prices. This helps you determine a layout of the land that you're about to go into, where the populations are, and that becomes a really helpful tool because, for example, the people, you can go and make connections with them. You can provide value to those who are on that list. And this is exactly what I'm doing in this space that I'm about to get into experimentally, and I'm adding value and I'm already getting and receiving back. And I haven't even created any content yet. But by just showing up and adding value and seeing what I could do to help those people, they're wanting to help me back in some way, which is pretty amazing. So I know that when I launch this new channel, and we're going to see an again experiment, I'm going to talk about it here as I create there. It's going to be awesome. And we're going to see what works and what doesn't, right? But that list of people, those are the people that you should be developing a relationship with, following, understanding what they might need help with. I try to get deep into every individual and what their next big task is. And if it's not always possible, but sometimes it is. If I see a person either tweet or mention something in a video or whatever, again, a person on that people list, and it's something that I can help with, I'll reach out immediately. And I'm gonna offer help without asking for anything in return. The cool thing is, by serving first, your byproduct is help back or support back. Your earnings are a byproduct of how well you support your audience, how well you serve people, right? And then finally, the product list. Maybe those are things that you can be an affiliate for, right? The list of products. Obviously, the places are places that you can go to find people and do more research and whatnot. But talking to people and doing this market map exercise are going to help you differentiate yourself really, really clearly. And then, of course, this all comes down to messaging. And this is something that on the weekends here, if you join me on the weekends, on Saturdays, we do some free website and YouTube channel reviews. The most common problem or concern that I have with websites and YouTube channels that I review is I don't understand what it is that you're offering immediately. I need to, as a person who's not just a reviewer of your website, but as a potential representative of somebody who's brand new to your website, checking it out for the first time, or brand new to your YouTube channel, checking it out for the first time, I need to know what this thing's about, because there are millions of other blogs, there are millions of other YouTube channels, and a million other podcasts that I could go to instead. So if you get to the point where you actually get a person to come onto your homepage, or you get a person to come and start watching your video, you better nail that messaging. It better be something that a person goes, oh, this is exactly what I'm looking for. Oh my gosh, I have to stick around to the end to see what happens. Or this is going to help solve my problems. Or this is different. And that messaging has to be clear, because you personally could behave differently, you can act differently, you could write differently than other people that are out there in the space. But unless you get that clear message that within the first 10 seconds after they find you or land on your website or start watching a video, they don't yet understand, if they cannot tell right away what makes this different than the others, then they're going to go away, and you're going to have to fight to get them to subscribe. I want you to approach your content in a way that people go, I don't want to miss any more of this. I have to subscribe, right? I have to subscribe, right? So hit that like button if you can, hit that bell, make it jingle, and we'll go from there. Thank you so much. Have a blessed, wonderful day. Pat Flynn and Team Flynn have to head out to a dentist appointment. Good luck on your dentist appointment, Ryan. Hope they don't, anyway, you'll be fine. Thank you, Ryan, for being here. So chat, what questions might you have? We're going to spend the next 15 minutes doing some Q&A about differentiating yourself. Be selfish. Ask questions about what you might need help with specifically. I'll pop your comment up here, and we'll do what we can to serve you. This is the benefit, if you're watching the replay, the benefit of coming in live. And I'm going to pull up my calendar so we can figure out when we can watch the next one. Calendar. Okay. Tomorrow it looks like it's going to be an early start. So tomorrow we're going to do a 7:30 a.m. start time, which is because Wednesdays are my meeting days and I have a mastermind meeting at 8:30. So we're going to go 7:30 a.m. Pacific tomorrow. Rob says, I was surprised that an interview I did a few months ago was published in Entrepreneur Magazine this week. What should I do to promote this? Well, number one, you can mention it if you have an email list, for example, or social accounts of any kind. This is great. This is number one, it's likely featured because it's of high value, right, Rob? Number two, it's something that differentiates yourself from others. Not everybody's getting their article featured in Entrepreneur. But I would try to frame it in a way that best helps the person that you are sending this to, whether on social media or via an email. The last thing I want you to do is go, hey guys, check it out. I was featured on Entrepreneur Magazine. Look at me. Go me. That's going to be inferred already. So you don't need to stress that. Yeah, great job. That's awesome. But okay, how does this help me? Right? Mentioning it, great. But helping people understand why it's important that you check this out or read it, awesome. Now, if they've read it already, you can remind them as a reminder what those things were about. And maybe you can even go a little bit further, right? So I would definitely make sure to share it and go from there. The other thing is that now, if this is your first time getting featured in Entrepreneur Magazine, go to their website. I believe that they would have some sort of resource for you to download a logo that you're allowed to use on your website. I would check first. Entrepreneur Magazine, I know specifically, is pretty mean when it comes to trademarks and copywriting and things like that. This is the reason why it's not Entrepreneur on Fire, but it's Entrepreneurs on Fire. And anybody who's wanted to use Entrepreneur in their name has heard from Entrepreneur Magazine and it's gotten a cease to desist letter. So just random fact of the day. But you can take that logo and pop it on your website for social proof. That's awesome, Rob. Congratulations on that. I love it. Eric Lee. I have a lot of content that I've written out and created. Currently, I don't have a product. So how do you tell people who you are when you don't have something to sell? I would care to guess that most people who create content online do not have their own product to sell. It's great if you do, and you can make your way there. But I think the product that you are selling is not an actual I want you to still think that you have a product to sell. No, you don't have a checkout process in a cart, but you have information that you still need to sell people on. You still have motivation that you still need to sell people on. Whatever it is that the space that you're in, Eric, excuse me, you have the ability to still sell that information. And that information is something that's useful. It's of value to them. Just the fact that you don't have something for purchase doesn't mean that you can't sell them or help them, right? In fact, many people are getting tired of being sold to and would much prefer to read free content that is extremely valuable. You can build that audience, create super fans, and get to a point where then they're going to start asking you for something, right? And that's where you can eventually get a product to sell. Your job is to get to know who that audience is, answer their questions, get to know them very well. What are their struggles, pains, needs, wants, desires, challenges? And then you can go in there and help them and answer questions and create content to serve that. And you're going to build your audience. People need answers. And you don't always need to buy something to get those answers. Question from Gerald. My business idea is about building a legacy, hence the name, but I have a very joking personality and was told these things don't work together. What's your thoughts? Prove that those things don't work together. Like, show me proof. If people are saying this, it's either likely because they're too scared to do it themselves or because they haven't seen it before and they're just trying to protect you, right? It could be loved ones that might be saying, well, those two things don't really go together. I worry about you, Daryl. I don't want you to be let down. Well, guess what? You have to make mistakes. You have to go out there. And these people are probably too afraid to do these kinds of things on their own and make their own mistakes, right? You're going to do that. You're going to be a disaster before you become the master. That's the pathway that everybody goes through, right? So, whoa. All right. So, bring yourself into the equation, help people with something they need, and your vibe will attract your tribe, right? A lot of people don't think adults and Pokemon cards go together, but guess what? That's a majority of the people who are paying for things right now because when we were kids, we didn't have money, and now during the pandemic, we have some extra cash to shell, and we're investing in Pokemon cards. You might not think that adults and Lego go together, but there are 3,756 meetings that happen every year for adult fans of Lego. AFOL, A-F-O-L. I don't know if that number is very specific, but the last time I checked on meetup.com, there were that many meetings or members on just meetup.com alone. So I would say maybe, but are you going to let that stop you from putting your full self into this and helping people? I think if your business idea is about building a legacy, great. What about that? And maybe there's a way to actually incorporate that in a way where you would definitely stand out a lot easier. Submastery. How to decide between one lifetime price versus monthly subscription for course. So if it's a course specifically that has a certain finite amount of information, and you gotta wonder, why would people continue paying monthly for something that they can get and there's like an end to it, right? So maybe it's a course and it ends after 3 months, or maybe it's a one-time payment, but it also has a payment plan. In that case, yes, the recurring payments because it's a payment plan or because it is literally going to take this long to accomplish it, then great. But an ongoing recurring thing, you have to have a reason to have people continually pay. So a monthly subscription, you have to get new things every month. So, or, I mean, SPI Pro, for example, we have new things every day. It's a community. So oftentimes people come and stay for the course in the community, or excuse me, they come in for the course and the content and they stay for the community. So you got to really understand, if you want people to pay monthly for something, what are they getting every month? When they get that bill in their PayPal account or in their email that says, oh, you just paid another $99 to get access to Submastery, is that of value to them? Is there a reason for them to go, yes, I'm super stoked that I still have this? Or is it like, yo, I already took that course and I got it. I'm done. Why am I continuing to pay? Which hosting is best for starting a tech website for US and UK audience at budget? Sir, please tell. I would recommend going to smartpassiveincome.com/BYOB. That is a free course that you can take to help you not just learn how to pop a website up there. There's videos walking you through how to do that. There's a recommended host in there as well, and how to set up a WordPress theme and start writing and even creating an about page. All this stuff is there. It's free. smartpassiveincome.com/BYOB. But this also tells you how to create a brand. That's why it's BYOB. It's not bring your own beer or build your own or bring your own beverage. It's build your own brand. So there's a lot of information about there about the approach that you're going to take about this tech website of yours. How are you going to name it? How are you going to create a logo for it? All those kinds of things, all within that course for you. smartpassiveincome.com/BYOB. What are your thoughts on doing affiliates when you know you might make a similar product in the future? So for those of you who don't know what this question means, you can promote other people's stuff and get paid for it. But would you promote somebody's stuff if you know that you're going to create a product of your own right now? I would say, yeah, you can, because the scenario I'm thinking of is if somebody, Lennon, came up to you and was like, yo, I really need some help starting a podcast right now. Lennon, I need some help. I know you podcast. Like, do you have anything that can help me? Well, you might know about my course, Power Up Podcasting, and you can maybe be an affiliate for it, right? Oh yeah, Pat Flynn, check out his course, Power Up Podcasting. I'm in the middle of creating my own stuff right now, so if you wanted to wait, you can. But if you need help right now, I'd recommend Pat Flynn because he's a good guy. Watch him on his income stream, and you can check out his course here. Or here's my wait list so you can sign up for mine when it comes out. Would you say that? Or would you rather say, you know what? I do know somebody that can help you, and I'm not ready to help you yet either, so sorry, I'm not going to help you, right? I think if people need help right now and you have a solution that's maybe not even yours, even though you might be creating that product in the future, I would still push it out there because your job is to serve your audience. And you could serve them sooner with a product that already exists, or if they can wait a little bit, they can sign up to your wait list to sign up for your product. And that would maybe encourage you to get moving on yours too. I don't know if you're doing a podcast product or not. I'm just kind of spitballing here. Cool. I like the later start. It allows me to eat lunch and listen to the income stream. I mean, we do have room in the afternoon tomorrow. Should we do another noon one? Would you rather? I'm going to base this on the chat, actually. So tomorrow, let's see. I could do 11 to 12 instead of early morning. Why don't we do that? See you, Grandma Goody. I would much rather start later, to be honest, just for sleeping purposes. So for those of you who are in the Slack channel, if you want to relay this, and of course, later is better because people might come to the early one and then go, oh, okay, I guess it's later, instead of maybe it happens early and then they show up and it's like, oh, it's already done, right? So let's try 11 11 a.m. 11 a.m. Pacific, and that's going to be what, 2 p.m. Eastern. Yeah, let's try that. I'm down to experiment. I'm down to experiment. So let's close that. Let's delete this, and let's move that. Cool. Yeah, let's try it at 11 o'clock. We'll see what happens. Obviously, I'm going to make some people upset. I can't please everybody, but I'm experimenting. So 11 a.m. tomorrow. Cool. Won't be there tomorrow, says John, but I do prefer later. Okay, cool. Yeah. Let's try it. Thank you. Anytime is good. Thank you, teachers. Obviously, you don't own a cat. I do not own a cat. I own a dog. Yay. Thanks, chat. I appreciate you. Is there an either.io on Die Hard? Let me see. That would be interesting. So I hope this has been a fun conversation today, everybody, about differentiating yourself. We're sort of at the tail end here, so I don't want to get into anything new. We got 3 minutes left, but I'm going to look up Die Hard on either.io. Let's see. No, there is no Die Hard there. Let's see. Die Hard survey Christmas movie. Ooh, there was a poll done in 2014. Now, you want to get into some data. Is Die Hard a Christmas movie? Here are the results from a survey among 2,200 U.S. adults. Boom. Most people say no. For ages 65 and over, definitely not. 78%. 75%, 55, 45. So anybody who's 45 and older, which now would be 50 and older, would be in the no camp by like 66% or more, for example. Men more than women say Die Hard is a Christmas movie. And, oh no, this was 2018. So not that long ago, actually. I thought it was 2014. Interesting. Cool. Interesting. Okay, well, there you go. Majority no. Personally, I don't think it's a Christmas movie. I just lost like half the viewers, by the way. Actually, no, I lost 32% of the viewers. I don't think it's a Christmas movie, personally. For what I know Christmas movies to be, right? So that's that. Anyway, thanks everybody. I appreciate you for coming in today. High five on a wonderful conversation. I hope that you take some of this information and either do the market map exercise, start looking at Amazon reviews or reviews for products that are similar to yours, or even start having conversations with people. This is how we strategically be different so that a person can come across our brand and know within a few seconds what it is that makes us different from everybody else and why they need to stick around. That's going to be really key. So thank you so much for coming in today. I appreciate you. Tomorrow, we're starting at 11 a.m. Pacific, 2 p.m. Eastern, 1 p.m. Central. Mark your calendars. If you are in the Slack channel, share it in the Slack channel, please. And obviously, it'll be marked here as a scheduled event, so you'll be able to see that tomorrow in case you forget. Well done, everybody. Thank you so much. I appreciate you. And as always, Team Flynn for the win. And hey, it's okay to have your opinion, right? Like, it's cool that we're disagreeing on some things for those of you who do think Die Hard is a Christmas movie. And that's what makes us humans. We have different opinions. We can get to know each other better. And, you know, that's how we can differentiate ourselves too. Oh, Pat Flynn, that guy who doesn't think Die Hard is a Christmas movie. There we go. Anyway, take care. Thanks so much. And as always, Team Flynn for the win.
This is the income stream to help you achieve your dream, all while we keep it clean. This is the income stream. It's the kind of show where you can come and go, but then you leave inspired with no fee required. The income stream with Pat Flynn.
Yo, thanks so much for coming in today. I appreciate you. Have a fantastic Tuesday. Keep up the great work. Let's differentiate ourselves, because that's what's going to help us connect more with our audience. The more audience that we have, the more likely we can serve more people, get to know them, and everybody can win too. Peace out. Thanks so much.
Bruh.